Stadium. Welcome also to a glorious Melbourne afternoon.
The 1996 Johnny Walker Cup highlights the changing face of Australian soccer once again, with the newly formed Collingwood Warriors up against the club with 19 years of National League pedigree behind them in Marconi. We'll take a look at the Collingwood Warriors side. Much interest in the shape of the competition, new boys, and a strong team on paper, as well as Zoran Madic builds his side. John Waddell only signed for the club on Friday, but he'll start the match in place of Lisa Merkus, who unfortunately failed a late fitness test. But with players like Lozanowski, Boutsianis, Tapai and Teliadouris, from an attacking perspective at least, they certainly look like they'll be a tough team to contain this season. The conditions here at the Bob Jade Stadium are very heavy indeed. There's been a lot of rain in Melbourne. As we look at Francis Awaratifi there, and we now look at the Marconi lineup, they are almost at full strength for the match, with Andy Harper back in action. He was the main concern for coach Manfred Schaefer. Francis Awaratifi has started the season strong. He was 7 goals in the cup so far, and he'll be supported from midfield by the new addition Craig Foster, who's moved across from Adelaide City. Paul Souris was also in doubt for the match, but he's recovered sufficiently and will take his place in defence. Waluni Tapai was in irresistible form in the semi-final here against South Melbourne last week. Surely buoyed by his return to international duty as well in the Simba Cup in South Africa. And hopefully we're starting to see the kind of form that really shot him to the heights of Australian soccer a few seasons ago. Andy Harper there from Marconi, chatting with today's official, Eugene Brazale from Melbourne. It looks like it will be Marconi to kick off the match. A tremendous beginning to a really exciting venture here for the Collingwood Football Club and the former Heidelberg Soccer Club. They've combined to form the Collingwood Warriors, and beyond all expectations, they're in the final here of the Johnny Walker Cup. The all-purple strip from Collingwood will certainly stand out in terms of the pictures for television, but will the side stand out with their performances on the field as well? Certainly they appear to have what it takes to make some kind of impact on the competition here, but we do know how hard it is for new teams to really establish themselves in the first couple of seasons. And the first trophy of the 1996-97 season is up for grabs. And what a start it would be if Collingwood could add some silverware to the trophy cabinet at their first attempt. I just wonder if they've actually got a trophy cabinet yet, as they piece together the sorts of things that are required for a team to be a successful sporting club in this country when you're starting from scratch. First foul in the final on Ernie Tapai. And you can see by the way the players and the ball is moving that the surface is very heavy here. Enormous amount of rain has fallen in Melbourne in this last week. Lahos just nudging it back to Alan Scott, wide on the left. Veteran of so many of Heidelberg United's days gone by. He's stuck with the club through thick and thin, and he's been rewarded with a chance again to play at the highest level of the game in here in Australia. Casserly, nice bit of play to come away from a couple of players. Bingley wide on the right, looking for a Waratifi. Well, Well, everywhere you look in this Marconi team, there's internationals who've played either at full international level or at certainly one of the junior international teams, as Warratipi gets the better of a couple of opponents there. Waits for some support. It was coming from Foster, but Taladera, Foster's former teammate at Adelaide, just got a touch in. And it's Andy Vlahos for Collingwood. That's nice play. A little ball inside, lovely little ball from Vlahos. Taladera turns back and turned into trouble in the form of Foster. Certainly a good feel already about this Johnny Walker Cup final. And that's a poor pass from Maloney, giving the ball away to Taliaduras. Well kept in, no, not quite, from Lozanowski, who looks to the ground. Free kick against Tapai this time. Danny Tapai, who tried his luck overseas with Stoke City in England and in Portugal as well, before making his way back to these shores. As Bingley works his way inside, he was well tracked by Scott, who followed him there. Harper wide on the left. Manfred Schaefer looking to go one better than he did last year when his side was beaten in the grand final against the Melbourne Knights. But certainly, by all accounts, Marconi are looking in good shape for this season. They've got a very strong squad, and they're most people's tips to take out the grand final, and they come into this game as strong favourites as well. Lahos lost out to Suris. Bingley. Suris. Casserly. Nice little play from Luke Casserly. Zoran Matic feels that his side is at least a month away from where he would like it to be at this stage of the season. A number of the players only signed for the club during the week. One of them, Dean Fack, who gets his chance to play at the highest level. Former Port Melbourne player. Warratipi just helping it back to Renault. Harper flicked on. But the Collingwood Warriors sweeper today is Rick Caraccio. Is on the ball there. Another name that will not be familiar to many viewers. Chance to move up a level from the Victorian Premier League. Players like Dean Fack and Caraccio. Zoran Matic back in the coaching fold once again, and that is tremendous for the sport in the country. He had a year off after leaving Adelaide City, but such is his passion for the game, he just couldn't stay away. And Casserly tries a shot, and it was blocked by Scott. And now Collingwood have a chance to do something on the break, but Taliaduras gave the ball away rather cheaply there. Longo clipped it down the line to Bingley. Inside was Maloney working his way forward. Brendan Renault, nice ball forward for Foster. It just didn't hold up enough for the Marconi number 9 to latch on to what was a good ball forward from Brendan Renault. Harper dropping back off the forward line to pick up possession. Only a Warratipi really through the centre. Casserly's nicely placed out wide. Chance to get the cross into the back of Alan Scott. Won by Longo in the air. And Collingwood will clear the ball via a free kick because Andy Harper was offside. Local support for the Warriors. Many ex-Heidelberg supporters, as you would expect, have joined in wishing the team well, and they're here today to watch the Warriors take on Marconi. The club is also hoping to establish a firm new membership base as well. Brad Maloney to Renault, given away. Now Foster with a chance for Marconi, but it didn't fall nicely for him. Possession is being traded fairly cheaply by both sides in this opening 8 minutes. There, because Andy Vlahos was just waiting for such a pass. A nice attacking look about this Collingwood side though, with Taladera being the anchor in midfield, Tapai alongside him, but always so willing to go forward. Lucianus, the natural left footer on one side and Lozanovsky on the other. It really does have an exciting feel about it. Through the centre is Vlahos and Teliadouris. Here's Ernie Tapai. Teliadouris available to him outside. Nice play as he skips past his match. Kivon Teliadouris working his way forward now. Just two defenders back. He may have to go on his own. Still Teliadouris. The shot. Straight into the goalkeeper in the end from Teliadouris. But he was looking up for options. There weren't too many in the centre. Only Vlahos, who was tightly marked. He had a couple of men around him. He worked a yard for himself and fired in the shot. And credit to the positioning of Bobby Catlin, because he had it well covered in the end. But a good moment for Collingwood. A nice chip inside from Boutianis to Vlahos. Here's Waddell. Space for him to move into. That's a good ball forward. Boutianis on the right foot, which is not his stronger, but he almost squeezed it across. And again, Collingwood show that they have the initiative to take the game to Marconi here. Good run from Boutianis into the space. Waddell recognised the fact, and Bingley it was who did the job that he's paid to do as a defender. Still Marconi struggling to clear the ball. Here's Scott. Oh, and Caraccio slipped there, and it looked for a moment as though Harper would be able to take him on, but he turned back instead. Waddell for Collingwood. Man who signed just 2 days ago from Morwell. He's a good addition to the squad for Collingwood, the veteran. As Lozanovsky comes forward, chips it across to Vlahos, just ran too far in front of Andy Vlahos. The moment was lost for Collingwood, and Bingley hoping to create a moment of his own for Marconi on the counter-attack. Maloney out wide to Renault. A very lively start to the game indeed. Brendan Renault goes inside one, goes past another two, and in the end it was Dean Fack who came back. Renault with the cross. Confusion there as Anastasiadis came out, and Fack cleared the ball. They both just acknowledge each other's commitment to win the ball there. Still no score in the Johnny Walker Cup Final after 10 minutes, but there have been a couple of opportunities already, in particular for Collingwood, to open their account. Here's a Waratifi. Harper. Bingley, who was making the run through the centre. That's who the pass was intended for by Harper. No shortage of goal scorers in this Marconi lineup either, with Bingley always willing to chip in from midfield, as is Maloney. Work alongside Harper and a Waratifi, two experienced and consistent goal-getters in the Australian game. Tapai inside. Taladera. Nice ball to Teliadouris. Back to Taladera. No really room for him to operate as he tried to walk through the defence with that pass. Back to Alan Scott. Certainly the game seems to have settled now, and after Marconi's strong start, it's Collingwood who look equally as comfortable when in possession. They're patient when they go forward. They've certainly got some potential match winners. Bingley just facing up to Kombutsianis there as he took the throw. Casual ball there. Waratifi, danger here for Collingwood. Shot comes in just past the post from Harper. And it was a chance that Collingwood created really by a very casual moment in midfield. Waratifi took up the cause. Harper told him to leave it and fired in the shot past the post. But that was a moment of absolute aberration there from Taladera. And Harper had the chance to make them pay for it, but somewhat scuffed his shot slightly as he came in to meet the ball from wide on the left. Taladera looking for options forward. Blauhaus, lovely touch from him, and back from Butsianis. He's been brought down very heavily indeed, just outside the Marconi penalty area. Blauhaus gets back to his feet, and that was a late tackle, without a doubt, by Brendan Renault on Andrew Blauhaus. Stern talking to Moreno from Eugene Rosale. But so far this match is free of cards, taken quickly, and a great recovery there by Harper, who was watchful, and he had to be as well because Collingwood showed some initiative there. John Waddell at the back post. He is the obvious target from the set piece. He towers above Marconi's tallest player. It's Tapai all on his own. Somehow the ball got through to Butsianis, who works his way into the penalty area. It's a cross, and a Waratifi clears with an acrobatic volley away. But further signs that Collingwood can unlock this Marconi defence. Butsianis worked his way into the penalty area. He fired it across, and it was just deflected away, and a Waratifi completed the clearance. Scott blocked it ball in. Away for Marconi. Maloney. Collingwood in control of the match now. We've had just over 15 minutes here at Lakeside. And against the odds somewhat, it's Collingwood who have Marconi pinned inside their half. Foster. Bingley caught flat-footed somewhat by a very nimble Alan Scott. Tapai forward, Taliadoris. Manfred Schaefer, coach of Marconi. So many options for Manfred Schaefer in terms of playing personnel as he continues to go in search of his best 11. Certainly as a coach, Manfred Schaefer has a good record in this competition. He's won it twice. Times with Sydney Olympic in 1983 and 1985 as Foster tries the shot. It was a shot that gave no trouble to Dean Anastasiadis in goal for Collingwood. Certainly a number of familiar faces in this Collingwood lineup. When you're a new team in the competition, experience really does count for an awful lot. And Zoran Matic has recruited wisely. Casserly with those long strides, Boutsianis matching him. Vlahos. Andrew Vlahos has been playing with Heidelberg United in recent seasons. He's a young Socceroo. He made his reputation as a midfielder, but he's been playing up front recently. Scored 2 in the semi against South Melbourne. 2 very well taken goals they were as well. Scott on for Vlahos. Nice ball from him. Here's Taladera in space. Out wide on the right is John Waddell. Nudged back to Taliadoris. Ozanowski lost out. Marconi take over again. Renault looking for a Waratipi. You see quite regularly that the conditions are playing a part here, as sometimes the players are slipping over as they try to turn sharply, and often the passes are under or over hit. Conditions tricky underfoot. Casserly back to Foster. Maloney, time to look up. And Waddell bundled over a Waratipi in the penalty area, and he looked straight to the referee, Francis Waratipi, but there was certainly no hints of anything coming from Eugene Brazale. And again, Collingwood on the counter, worked their way up the park very quickly indeed. Bobby Catlin is not liking what he's seeing. His defence have been caught out a number of times already, and he's trying to tighten things up. It's a throw for Collingwood. Taliadoris came. Vlahos, who's so tidy on the ground. Harper running into trouble. That was very well played indeed by Caraccio. Scott. First time ball to Waddell. Taladera, nice move indeed this from Collingwood, who've got Taliadoros free on the right. Tapai and Lozanowski involved. Whipped across. Chance here. Well, the linesman's flag is up because that ball has gone out, and Waddell could have made a super start to a career at Collingwood. Taliadoros and Lozanowski combined, and it was whipped across. It took the goalkeeper out of the equation, and Waddell had a chance right there to open the scoring, and he blazed away. But again, you have to be impressed with the quality of the Collingwood Warriors. They clearly outsmarted the whole defence. And Waddell may look back on that at half-time with some real disappointment. And that is what is at stake here, the magnificent Johnny Walker Cup. Sitting there patiently waiting for either of the two captains to come and lift it aloft at the end of 90 minutes. Latifi won't trouble Anastasiadis. Former teammates, of course, at South Melbourne. Tapai prepared to go all the way back to receive possession as Marconi try and tighten things up, making it a little harder for Collingwood to work their way forward. Lucianus slipped and recovered. Tapai, Taliadoros. Here's Lucianus again, taking a man on. Nice little ball to Tapai. That's just an unfortunate challenge there, as Taliadoros cops one from Maloney. And in the meantime, Eugene Brazali has a word to Dominic Longo as we see a replay of that tackle. Lahos flicked on. Away from Longo. Bingley brings it down nicely. A lovely ball over the back from Taladera, looking for Lozanowski. Casserly got behind his man, working his way forward now. Still Casserly forward. Harper hoping to get on the end of that nudge from Luke Casserly. Souris now works his way forward for Marconi, who have not had a lot of moments to crow about in this first half. Just one shot to show for their efforts so far, coming in from Andy Harper. Waddell. Good long ball from John Waddell to find Andy Vlahos. Only Taliadoros supporting him forward, working his way inside. Now he's forced back to Taladera. Here's Lozanowski waiting patiently out wide. Waddell goes outside him. Back to Lozanowski. That should hold up. It does. And that's a good battle there between Maloney and Lozanowski. Two of the young guns of the national competition. Harper. Well, that's interesting because that was an intentional bit of holding there from Rick Caraccio, and that fact is recognised by Andy Harper, and he mentions it to Eugene Brazali. We'll just see here how Caraccio was tugging on the shirt of Harper. Harper looked like he was ready to clobber him. Now leaves it for Taladera. Nice ball forward for Vlahos. Taladera continues forward, but he just couldn't get the ball away from the recovering Foster. Carlo Taladera, number 6 today for Collingwood. Played half a season with Morwell last year, but he struggled to get a place at Adelaide City. Oh, that was brilliant from Warriorsville there. Absolutely brilliant. A good cross as well. Maloney. Well, it deserved better. Let's take a look again at Warriorsville. He totally outwitted Alan Scott there. And it was a quality cross as well, but Maloney just couldn't get his foot around the ball. But one of the best moments of the match so far. Just take a look at this. First he beats him there, then he totally outwits him. Just a bit of concern for Collingwood as Ernie Tapai goes over to... Looks like he doesn't have an injury problem at all. Doesn't seem to be holding any part of his body. We'll just await to hear what happens there, but that will be of some concern to Zoran Matic, his main man in Ernie Tapai. His hand appears to be the problem. Lozanowski in very quickly on Renault. Trainer's kit is scattered all over the ground by the tackle from Lozanowski. Renault now, chance for the cross. Harper's in there, got a touch on it as well, but couldn't direct it towards the goal. Now it's still unclear what is the problem with Ernie Tapai. He was holding his hand before, now he's getting some work on his throat. Marconi taking advantage of the fact that they have an extra man for just a few seconds there when Harper came in on that cross. Still Tapai gets treatment, still Collingwood down to 10. As a Warratifi wriggles away from his marker, but Dean Fack with a very good tackle indeed. Tapai appears to have some breathing problems. And there's Dean Fack, who has been one of the best talents in the Victorian Premier League for a number of seasons now. Still, surprisingly, no goals after half an hour here at Lakeside. Foster. Good run from Foster. Working his way in, still Foster on the left foot, took a deflection, but it aided the goalkeeper somewhat because it took the heat out of the shot. That's more of what we expect from Craig Foster, though. He really does have the knack of scoring from midfield, and we recognise the fact that Ernie Tapai is back in play as well. Here he is, in fact, in possession. Taladera works his way up to the right. Tapai taking his time. Lozanowski lost out. Renault. Well, this could be dangerous as Marconi come on the counter-attack. Andy Harper shrugs off one. Still Harper working his way in. Now he'll need some support. And that's gone out. And just a hint of frustration for Manfred Schaefer with that particular attack, because Renault did some good work in the middle of the field to set up the counter. played by Scott, who never took his eye off the ball. Heliodouris. Tapai now getting a foot in. Renault. Inside to Awaratifi. Nice pass. Awaratifi did well to get past a man with even longer legs than him in John Waddell. Here, Awaratifi on the turn, across the goal. And it was closer than it looked, I think, because Awaratifi looks on ruefully as the shot goes past the post, and we might get a look here at the angle. He took it on the thigh and turned and shot. It was a quality attempt from Awaratifi. It missed by around a metre, I'd say, at the end of the day. Tapai again. Seems to have recovered from whatever it was that was ailing him a few moments ago. Throw into Collingwood, down the line to Lozanowski, who's been kept very quiet by Brendan Renault. Well, there is the conditions taking its toll, as both players slipped when the ball was up for grabs. Nice long ball. Heliodouris flicks on. And chances taken there by Stanton, who had time to nudge it back to Catlin. Waddell. Deep cross. The goalkeeper comes. Too many players there for him to work his way through. In the end, it was cleared away. Scott will take the throw. Tapai back to Taladera. Lozanowski goes past his man. This is looking promising for Collingwood. Little chip across. Oh, just a whisker away from the opening goal, and it was Kombutsianis who just had to stretch a little further to get on the end of that one. But great play from Lozanowski, and Butsianis just out of reach of the ball. But another good moment for Collingwood. It's been their half without a doubt. And the quality of the cross again from Lozanowski as the sun finally comes out here at Lakeside. Heliodouris still in possession. Nice play again from Lozanowski. Lost out in the end though to Renault. It's a tremendous battle down that side of the field between Renault and Harper. Sorry, Renault and Lozanowski. The pass was intended for Harper. Foster and Tapai battling it out in the centre there. A good battle as well between the two Australian internationals. One in the air by Suris. And very quickly was Bingley on Taladera. Foster now for Marconi. Down the line is Casserly. Had such a tremendous tournament at the Olympics, Luke Casserly. He was one of Australia's outstanding player. And there's Jerry Connolly in your shot there, one of the NSL referees. Scott to take this free kick. Around 36 minutes gone here in the first half of the Johnny Walker Cup Final. No goals to show as yet, but a very, very compelling first half here. The conditions somewhat taking the toll on the state of the match. Vlahos nudges it forward for Lozanowski, who's got more and more involved in the game as the half's gone on. Good ball inside. Vlahos is there. Catlin came out and took the ball very nicely indeed. But again, Lozanowski providing the ammunition for the Collingwood Warriors. Foster forward, still Foster working his way in to the penalty area. He went down under the challenge. Tapai in space, and now Boutsianis skips past one and was obstructed clearly. But it really is tremendous to see Con Boutsianis back in action after being off the National League scene for a season. The game's all about exciting players who can produce something out of the ordinary, and he certainly fits into that category. Collingwood Warriors bench there with the substitutes. Brian McNichol on the left. Next to him was Vlad Babic and Tom Karapatsos as well. Tifi closely watched from the aerial attacks by John Waddell. Well, Craig Foster will make a difference to this Marconi side. He is one of the outstanding players in the country at the moment. Has had a couple of tremendous seasons with Adelaide City, which culminated in his call up to the Socceroos, and now he's made the move to Sydney. Spent a number of seasons in Hong Kong, Craig Foster, but it's very hard to get national selection when you're not playing either with a top club overseas or within these shores here. Foster again. With the yard for himself, got the ball back to Cassidy. Deep cross from Cassidy, looking for Harper. Lozanowski and Waddell combined. Tapai takes over for Collingwood. Still Ernie Tapai. Good run from the diminutive midfielder, still going forward. Bingley tracked him back all the way, and that is credit to the athleticism of Matt Bingley, who stuck with his man. Harper was fouled by Waddell. Cassidy back to Stanton. Robbie Stanton is such a solid player, very steady, makes very few errors, which is ideal if you're a sweeper. It's still looking fairly relaxed at this stage. He's so familiar with his many expressions in the heat of the action. So far today, he's looking fairly comfortable with the way things are going. He's probably doing far better in this competition than he ever could have hoped for, considering the age of his squad, the age in terms of how long they've been together and how he's been piecing them together over the last 3 to 4 weeks. Deep ball in there, Warratifi under it. He won it in the air, but he couldn't direct it towards the goal with any purpose. Renault down the line, only to Scott. One back by Harper though, very nicely indeed. Bingley recovered after both he and his marker slipped. A shot from Bingley, good shot. Anastasiadis was caught by the pace of the shot from Matt Bingley, and he fumbled it somewhat. Fortunately, he fumbled it to the side and was able to recover, but it bounced awkwardly in front of the big goalkeeper, and Warratifi closed in, hoping for more than just some scraps, hoping to put his side in the lead, but Anastasiadis recovered. And now Collingwood on the break. Taladera has got Teliadouris out wide. Kept in play. Plenty in the centre for Collingwood. Right across the goal. Here's Lozanovsky. Might try his luck, and he does. The man who has a reputation for being able to strike the ball from long range really didn't live up to that particular billing with that shot. Teliadouris does have this ability to hold the ball up well. Just a couple of minutes or so before half-time. As Renault takes the free kick. Everyone missed it. Harper may have got a faint touch, but it certainly wasn't directed towards goal. Gutierrez. Taladera. Lajos, who's been quiet in the last 20 minutes or so. Foster back deep for Marconi, trying to get things going now. Castley is found in space. Taladera was trying to close down Foster on the ball. Tapai finally does that. Still the ball away to Castley. Gutierrez in quickly. And there is the half-time whistle. As players make their way off the ground, it has been an absorbing first 45 minutes here at Lakeside, with the heavy conditions somewhat frustrating the players. And what is a very good match could have been an absolutely superb match where they're putting a little bit firmer underfoot, but certainly it's Collingwood who had the better of the first half. Ernie Tapai has been involved, as has John Waddell at the top of the screen there. And great chances were created by the crosses from Goran Lozanovsky wide on the right-hand side. But at half-time here, the score is Collingwood Warriors 0, Marconi Fairfield 0. We'll take a break and be back with Eric and Bertie Mariani shortly. Matt Bingley and Craig Foster, two of the more senior members of the Marconi lineup, are certainly expected to lead the way when it means that something has to be done in the match, and I'd say that that's where we're up to now, with Collingwood well on top after the first 45 minutes. as the Warriors make their way back onto the park, and we'll just try and ascertain whether there have been any substitutions made by either side. It doesn't look like it at this stage. Marconi do have a good record in the competition. They have won it once back in 1980, and ironically they beat Heidelberg United in the final. They've also lost a couple of times in the final as well, back in 1977 and back in 1992 as well. There's a nice moment between two Melbourne boys. Kimon Teliadoris back in this city after a stint in Sydney, and the referee, as we mentioned earlier, is Eugene Brazale. Coming into this match, certainly Marconi were the better in terms of form in front of goal. They had played 4 matches and they'd won all 4, beating Wollongong 4-1 on aggregate. It was a 1-0 win and a 3-1 win, which saw them achieve that. In the quarters, they beat Newcastle by 3-1, and then they pumped the Brisbane Strikers 5-0 in the semi. Waratifi grabbing a couple there. Foster, Longo and Bingley also getting on the score sheet, and Waratifi has 7 goals for the tournament so far. But he's been kept very quiet so far this afternoon. And you just wonder what Manfred Schaefer had to say to the side at half-time that would see them start to gain a little bit more of the ascendancy here. By contrast, Collingwood not quite so impressive in their previous round matches. A 2-2 draw against the South Australian Reds, which was a combination of players from the South Australian State League. They won that with a golden goal win in extra time. And then in the quarter-final, they beat Adelaide City 3-1 on penalties after 0-0 after extra time. So they stuttered their way through the first couple of rounds before a very good showing to beat South Melbourne 3-1 in the semi. And it was Vlahos who grabbed a couple for the Warriors, but Ernie Tapai really was the shining light in that particular match. Waddell inside to Taladera. Tapai and Bingley in very quickly, and now Marconi on the counter. A Waratifi through. Bingley was blocked by Caraccio, and a Waratifi and Bingley, well, if body language is anything to go by, they both thought that the other really was to blame there. And Boutianis through the centre, little chip, brilliant goal! Con Boutianis has marked his return with a delightful finish. And Bobby Catlin signals to the linesman to signal to the referee, but it won't matter because the goal stands, and Boutianis on a very, very quick counter-attack has put Collingwood into the lead. Just look at this. It was a huge clearance from Anastasiadis, and Teliadoris picked the ball up in midfield, and one pass and Boutianis is through, and that is a classy finish indeed from the former South Melbourne player. And it was started by a former South Melbourne player as well in Anastasiadis, and Teliadoris, to complete the hat-trick, also had some time here at South Melbourne. So Collingwood have their crosstown rivals to thank for the opening goal. Well, the first half was threatening to erupt at any time, And it was quite amazing that there was neither side with something to show for their efforts after 45 minutes. But the first half has started absolutely brilliantly for that man right there, Butsianis. Waratifi just whipped in front of Caraccio, who recovered very well, and I must say he's looked quite composed at the heart of the Collingwood defence. And it was that almost a smile we saw on Zoran Matic's face there. Perhaps a little early for that. Oh, nice touch on from Taliadoris for Tapai. Again, Collingwood looking good on the counter. Taliadoris. And now Maloney for Marconi. And Taliadoris, well, it was an intentional foul, and it results in a yellow card. First of the game, in fact. And Marconi's Brad Maloney and Taliadoris just fronted each other for a moment there after that challenge. Just have a look at this header from Waratifi. It was fairly comfortable for the big goalkeeper, who would have to take some credit for the opening goal in the match. It was a quick clearance, it was a big clearance. And it set up the pass from Taliadoris to put Butsianis through for the opener. Renault now for Marconi. Can they bounce back? Good ball in. Waratifi's there. Maloney. Well, he won't reach that, and you just wonder what he was trying to do there. Brad Maloney, who does have a reputation as a goal-scoring midfielder. Played for the Young Socceroos back in 1991, but hasn't added to his international standings with appearances in the senior team, and that is the exquisite chip from Butsianis again. Renault blocked on the edge of the penalty area. Tapai with Harper. Tapai is so quick. He just turned away from two men there with the greatest of ease, but he was a little casual, and now Marconi can make it pay. Waratifi. The flag is up for offside. Well, this is the 21st NSL Cup Final. Adelaide City have won the most cups, being 3. Marconi have won 1, as we mentioned earlier. And Collingwood, at their first attempt, heading towards their first trophy. Foster to Casserly. Bingley. Well, good pace from Bingley. Now he's taking on a second man in Caraccio. Got the cross in. A good clearance by Rick Caraccio there, who was the pass at the heart of the Collingwood defence. Renault kept on his feet well. Bingley across the goal. Collingwood clear the ball away. Some nervous moments for the side now that they've got one in front. Maloney to the back. Anastasiades, two firm hands on the ball as he came out to grab that cross. It was a Waratipi who was putting some pressure on his former teammate. Foster now for Marconi. Souris, Collingwood dropping right back. Making it very difficult for Marconi to break them down now. Bingley forward. Longo, good ball out wide, first time to Renault. Lozanovsky, time to clear now for Goran Lozanovsky. Foster, such an industrious player in midfield. That ball has gone out, and that will be a Collingwood ball. Well, Marconi haven't been overly active in the off-season in terms of transfers. Just two signings. Sean Babbage has come on board from Sydney United. He's not involved today. Craig Foster, the other signing. There he is, and that's a good shot from Foster, plenty of power. Here's the second signing that Manfred Schaefer has made. The only other notable movement that they did have is that they bought out Dominic Longo's contract from his Belgian club, Cercle Bruges. So he's a fully owned asset, if you like, of the Marconi club now. Renault. Deep ball in behind. Good ball as well for Casserly, as Scott couldn't quite reach it. Tapai covers more ground than any other player on the park. Here he is again. Nice ball inside. Lovely play this from Collingwood as Waddell, perhaps wisely, slows things down. Casserly again. Tapai. Well, I mentioned just a moment about how much ground he covers, but not just from an attacking sense. He's the first player to put in a challenge when the opposition has the ball. Taladera hassling. And done well, Carlo Taladera, to come away with the ball. Now, there's Kimot Teliadouris. Out wide is Lozanovsky. That ball will slow down in the conditions. Goran Lozanovsky, a lot of options for him forward. Fell nicely to Waddell. Vlahos in space. Time to him to get the cross in. Little chip to the back post. Too deep, in fact. And Teliadouris did well there. No. Well, he's asking the question, what was that for? It was always a defender's ball. And somehow Teliadouris got his way in on the action. And the referee adjudged him to have fouled his opponent. Lozanovsky with the first time ball, back to Fack. Longo in too quickly on Vlahos. Lozanovsky, here's Vlahos. Well, some confusing play in the centre there as both sides gave the ball away rather willingly. Now, there's a chance for Marconi to establish something here with Casserly. Deep cross, Bingley's coming in. Well, it was well picked out by Luke Casserly. And the the accuracy was to be applauded, but Bingley's header was a little disappointing. And you get the feeling that he has the same opinion. Well, Collingwood have one hand on the trophy. Lozanowski, and lovely ball to Scott, working his way forward down the left. That was great vision from Lozanowski. Here he is again. No one for him down the line. Not a lot of options for him. Forced to take his man on. Oh, that's a great cross. Taliadoris. Well, the lack of solid footing cost Kim and Taliadoris there, but the cross was absolutely outstanding from Goran Lozanowski. Waddell, Vlahos, still Vlahos, so quick to get up again. Foster, nice play. Oh, this is a great run from Craig Foster. Harper's just in front of him. And that is a foul. But Scott earned his money there as Harper and he shake hands, because the interception was timed perfectly. Foster's run was superb. Harper was through the centre, and Scott, covering all the way from the left-back position, saved the day for Collingwood, and that was a late tackle by Andy Harper. Skips past one. Somewhat opening up for Ernie Tapai, still going forward. Now he lays off to Taladera. Out wide is Waddell. Good move this from Collingwood. Low cross comes in and it's easy to clear. And Waddell will get a second chance. Lozanowski got past his man and Maloney came across. And Lozanowski not happy with both the challenges there. Taliadoris, nice layback. Taladera, you thought he might have fancied his chances, but he was never really looking towards goal. Stretched out and won the ball back for his side. Tapai turns back and slows things down. In fact, goes all the way back to Caraccio. Certainly, now that Collingwood have got their noses in front, they do have players like Waddell and Tapai and Taliadoris who can really make sure that the team keeps their composure. Doesn't do anything too silly, doesn't give the ball away too quickly, and you can see here that they're comfortable in possession, and now they've worked Waddell forward into space on this right-hand side. Boutsianis, touch back for Waddell. Scott. Here's Vlahos. Scott continuing forward. Some elbows were coming out from Souris and Scott there. And the referee wisely decided to play on. Lozanowski. Boutsianis down the line. Tracked by Maloney. Well, that was a clear foul in the back there by Brad Maloney. And there's a man down, and there's a substitution to be made as well. And Vlado Zoric, the touch player, will get a chance to show us what he's made of in the Johnny Walker Cup Final. And the Warratifi will make way for him. He's been kept very quiet, Francis Warratifi, and that's a credit to the likes of Dean Fack and Alan Scott in the defence for Collingwood. Offside, despite the protestations of the crowd, and that free kick will have to be taken again. Zoric, first touch, nice little ball inside as well. Harper now. And you remember last year's grand final when Marconi were 2 down to the Knights. It was Andy Harper who started the revival with a goal. Wasn't enough to get them back in the game, but he certainly kept the team going. Need something now. The clock is ticking in favour of Collingwood. Lozanovsky, Tapai, not quick enough this time. Bingley did well to shrug him off. Harper's working his way forward down the right, but there's not a lot of options on from Matt Bingley, and there's 3 Collingwood players chipping away at him. The free kick's been taken quickly. Foster. And he was lucky to be able to bring that down. That's a good switch of play. Casserly across the goal. Bingley. Just enough pressure coming in there on Bingley from Ernie Tapai. It was a good chance indeed. Let's look at this again. Here's Maloney's ball to Bingley. He was just about to line that up, and Tapai and Anastasiadis combined to clear the danger. Zoric. Shot, good shot as well, and worth a try from Robbie Stanton, who now has to come forward from the back a little bit more often than we've seen him in the opening hour or so of the match. Now Lozanovsky skips past a couple, whips it across. Well placed was Dominic Longo, but another sign that Lozanovsky and the Warriors can take them on the counter-attack. Tapai. Here's Foster, Harper, Renault. Fortunately, the pass went to Maloney. Bingley, Zoric. Good play from Zoric. Still Zoric, this is brilliant. He had to go on his own in the end. The shot comes in. Still the danger is there for Collingwood. Maloney now. Cleared away, and that's a corner. And Collingwood survived, but only just. And this was Vlado Zoric at his best. Went past a couple, kept his composure enough to try to attempt a goal. And Marconi finally took the shot from Maloney to result in this corner, which we're looking at now. Foster, little curler, and comfortable for the goalkeeper. Well, you could see what was in the back of Craig Foster's mind there. He had time to pick a spot. And now as time goes on in the second half, Zoran Matic's expression changes as the tension mounts here at Lakeside. Waddell for Collingwood. Chapai. Very hard to shrug off the ball, despite the fact that he's not a big man. Waddell in space again. Some tired legs perhaps in the Collingwood camp. Waddell hasn't been playing a lot of soccer in recent weeks. Maloney for Marconi. Here's Stanton. Foster working so hard to try and get his side back in the match. Renault now. Still Renault. And now Collingwood have a chance on the counter with Vlahos. Lozanovsky joining in very quickly. Waddell is through the centre. Teliadouris now. Just slowing things up. Still Teliadouris. Back to Waddell. Across to Vlahos. Souris was patient in his defending and timed his interception perfectly. Foster, good ball in. Deep cross, cleared away. And it was a free kick in any case because of the challenge by Harper on Scott. But Alan Scott has been solid all afternoon here. Helped out by his former teammate was Brendan Renault. Marconi needs something to lift them. They have really taken over the match since Collingwood did score the goal. Foster, who has been very influential, really needs to get into some more forward positions if he can really have an impact here. Free kick, Longo will take it quickly. Foster. Ball over the back. Sianis back helping out. Zoric. Well, that was a hard shot to take, and he holds his hand up in acknowledgement of that fact. Around 15 minutes remaining here at Lakeside. Marconi came into the match as very, very warm favourites. Collingwood, if their semi-final form was anything to go by, would have been happy with the odds. The final hit out before the Ericsson Cup begins next week. Harper trying the shot. It was a half chance at best, but Renault almost won it back, and Fack stuck to his guns and cleared the ball away. Marconi getting desperate, and maybe that's what it takes. As the ball comes in, Anastasiadis with a solid punch. Taliadoris won the ball in the air and was fouled by Suris. And it was a brave header by Kimon Taliadoris, and his teammates are aware of that. And the substitution is being made. Boutsianis will go off, and it's the substitute Babic who will come on. Well, he's made his mark today, Boutsianis, with one piece of absolute impudence, and it was a crucial piece of work as well, because so far that's the only goal of the match. Now Suris for Marconi, down the line. Good ball as well for Cassidy. Pulls it back. No one following in for Marconi from a midfield perspective. It was Harper waiting in the centre for it. And again, some nervous moments for Collingwood. Zoric. Renault out wide. Goes past his man, flips it across, everyone missed it, and it's gone away for a goal kick. And Marconi will make a second change. And this is Andrew Ravanello, who will come on for Brad Maloney. Ravanello, who was signed for Marconi from the Port Kembla club. Goes straight into the centre of midfield, directly in place of Brad Maloney. Collingwood really operating now with just one striker up there in Taliadoris. Every player in Collingwood's half, except for Bobby Kaplan, the Marconi goalkeeper. Renault, great strike. Plenty of power, but just a little bit too high. Well, he didn't hesitate, did he? Just controlled it and blazed away. Anastasiadis had that post, covered it anyway. Ravanello, first touch. That clears through the centre. Taliadoris will be prepared to chase this. Longo let the ball bounce, which is not out of the textbook, but it paid off for him on that occasion. Suris down the right for Marconi. Poor pull back from him. Just hoofed up the part from Collingwood, which is not really the way that Zoran Madic would like the game to be played. I'm sure he'd like them to keep possession when they do get it and make Marconi work hard to get the ball back. Bingley. Sharp tackle in on Matt Bingley there by Vlahos. Harper now. Can he provide some inspiration? Bingley in hard. Zoric again. Renault. Chance here for Marconi. Whipped across the goal. Anastasiadis with the touch. Bingley. Straight at the goalkeeper. But Marconi continued to knock at the Collingwood door. And Matt Bingley frustrated again, but Zoric has made a big impact since he came on as substitute. It was whipped across by Renault. Anastasiadis just touched the ball away and was in the right position to get the shot from Bingley. Will chase anything, and Catlin's right out of his goal. He hasn't got time to take it back, so he takes no chances, and that is the sort of thing that pressure does for you. Catlin, in different circumstances, may have taken the ball upfield and cleared long, but he couldn't take the chance because of the work rate of Taliadoris. And now Collingwood are in possession in the centre. Here's Tapai. Babic. Taladera. Tapai again. Tapai beaten there by two men, two strong men as well, as Casserly was prepared to wrestle him for the ball, and Foster came away with the ball. Ravanello. Renault saw the gap and went for it, but Vlahos had it covered. Tapai didn't look like he wanted the ball there. His hand still seems to be causing him some problem. Taliadoris takes over. Nice play from Kimon Taliadoris. Oh, good play. Still Taliadoris through the centre for Vlahos. And Kimon Taliadoris is playing the captain's role to a T here. Zoric. Nice play. Oh, this is great play from Zoric. What a classy player he's looked since he's been on the field. It's a deep cross for Bingley. Still Bingley. Laid back, Harper. Oh, great move. And Anastasiadis, by far the busier of the two keepers in the second half. But Zoric has been inspirational. It was a deep cross which Bingley took superbly on the chest, and the shot from Harper was accurate but not quite powerful enough to beat the goalkeeper. Nice layoff. Again, Harper and Bingley, the two most likely men to challenge the Collingwood goal. Time is now running out for Marconi. Collingwood just have 5 or 6 minutes to hang on. Caraccio, nice play. And a deep ball as well for Babic to just keep him, which he does. Can Collingwood steal a second? Vlahos. Little ball inside. Lozanovski, shot on the turn. Well, nice move again from Collingwood. They've been few and far between in the second half since they took the lead, but Lozanovski took the shot in the end. Ravanello. Good play from him as he hurdles a couple of tackles. Renault. Brendan Renault will be disappointed with that cross, but he is a real up-and-comer in the game here. He's just about realising the potential that has been brewing for a number of seasons now. And Babbage is forward for Collingwood, but it was cleared away in the end by Bobby Kaplan. Taliadoris, he's been tireless in this second half. Tapai still on the field, somewhat surprisingly, with the injuries that he's had. Ravanello won it. Zoric with the touch. Here's Zoric again. Harper hoping for the ball to run through to him, but it was cleared away. And look at the room now for Waddell down the right. He's got three men supporting him. They're running all over the place. Taliadoris wide on the right. Still Waddell goes on his own. The ball ran for Taliadoris in the end. And he'll take the corner. He was hoping for the pass to have been played to him a little earlier. But it's all time now. And time is not in favour of Bobby Kaplan's side. Short one taken. Tapai wins another one. Oh, how long can they keep this up for? Tapai and Lozanovsky playing a little game of 2-on-2 in the corner with Zoric and Foster. Just two men in the centre for Collingwood, Taliadoris and Babbage. Here they go again with the short one. And this time it's a goal kick. Used up a bit of time, I suppose, but it's not a more pleasant aspect of the game. Stanton. Ball stuck like glue to the control of Casserly, who continues to run forward. He squeezed his cross in, but didn't really get any power on it. Collingwood with Tapai looking to go forward, or at least retain possession. Stanton will go back to the goalkeeper. Time really running out now for Marconi. Already some whistles have come in from the crowd. There's still a couple of minutes perhaps. Longo takes over. Forward. Cleared by Scott. Babbitt's lost out. White shirts all around him. Throw into Marconi. There's still time for something. They're worth a chance as well. They've been attacking for such extended periods of the second half. Suris forward. Bingley. Stanton. But it won't count because the whistle had gone. Stanton knew about that fact, and he'll receive a yellow card for playing on. Silly thing to do really too for Stanton, because his side's losing 1-0 and it just takes up more time. Perhaps he didn't hear the whistle. Free kick. This time it's Collingwood's. Tapai slowly gets to his feet. He will be sore after today's game, without a doubt. He's copped a couple along the way, as well as working extremely hard. That one was a little bit wayward. Taliadoris came. Waddell goes back to Caraccio. He is composed enough to play the ball out wide to Teliadoris. Oh, he's missed it. Lozanowski over the bar. A gift for Goran Lozanowski. He couldn't believe it, I don't think. It was just a hopeful ball from Teliadoris. And Reno misjudged it completely. And Lozanowski tried to nudge it over the goalkeeper. It was an innocuous ball forward, and the chance had to be taken quickly, but it was missed.
Hey, we don't want to score now.
Bingley. Handball. Chance now for Marconi.
This is dangerous.
The clock will be stopped while the wall is organised. At every man's back for Collingwood, as you would expect. Foster's over the ball. Bingley's there as well. Casserly not too far away. What will they come up with here? Bingley may try a shot on his own. Bingley into the wall. Casserly. And Teliadoris did well. And that is the final whistle. And there is a new name on the trophy called the Johnny Walker Cup. And the name is the Collingwood Warriors. Zoran Manic appears to have put together a team in very short notice that is to be reckoned with in this season's Ericsson Cup. The new kids on the block have had a stunning start to the year and have taken out the Johnny Walker Cup here at the Lakeside Stadium. A magnificent performance for both coach and players. And the goal came a couple of minutes into the second half with an exquisite chip from Konbutsianis, who really made his mark today to let the rest of the country know that he is back on the scene here. But what a marvellous moment from this fledgling club. And Zoran Manic told me a week ago that he felt his preparation was very, very far behind the rest of the other clubs, but if that's how they perform, underprepared, we can't wait to see what they'll offer up when they fully get things happening. Victoria Park is their home ground, the new venue in this season's Ericsson Cup, and their opening game is next week against the champions, the Melbourne Knights. And you couldn't get a sterner task for the new team in the competition. But congratulations to Collingwood. A marvellous performance. Tapo was brilliant in midfield. Teliadoris really came into his own in the second half when the team was in the lead. But credit to all of the players. Waddell and Caraccio also played well in defence. Well, what can you say? An absolutely stunning performance. And credit to both the Collingwood Football Club and to the Heidelberg United Soccer Club for the condition of the team in such early days. And it certainly augurs well for them for the rest of the season.
And really, Bertie Mariani, that is a wonderful result for the Collingwood Warriors.
Yeah, great result, but what a great performance. They played very well in that second half, absorbed a lot of Marconi pressure, scored very early on the counter, which is exceptional pace and coolness by Konbutsianis.
Now, we really know how good this Marconi Fairfield side is, so therefore this Collingwood Warriors side really in the second half just gave it to them.
Yeah, played very controlled football, looked very, very good. In the end, very solid in defence. I mean, Marconi came at them very, very much in that second half from the midfield all over, but they held up very well.
1 week to go till the kick-off of the Ericsson Cup. Bodes well for them, doesn't it?
Yep, I'd say Collingwood, their first tournament, and they've got one trophy in the cabinet. They'd be wanting another one, and it's a good start for them.
It's a really very good start for this Collingwood Warriors side. Thank you very much for your company here at Bob Jane Stadium. on what is now turning into a rather overcast early Melbourne evening. On behalf of Bertie Mariani and all of us here, good evening.